Mihi nui, ki te hui hui nei mihi nui o te ata. Ki te rangarawa, rā ko papatunu, ko tēnā rā, tēnā koe te whare. Thank you for having me. And what I really wanted to think about this morning is that I was thinking about, like, where is my favourite place? And for me, the place I feel most alive is in the surf. And part of why I feel most alive when I'm in the surf is because I have this real sense of there being no boundary, that the surf is in me and I'm in the surf. And there's a point there where you realise that so much of our bodies is water, and in fact so much of our bodies as humans is salt water. And it's very easy for us to forget that we believe we're separate. Do you know? So we believe that somehow nature is out there, that the natural world is out there. But when I'm in the surf, I'm completely surrounded in it, and I no longer remember where the boundary between me and the water is. And when I'm in that place, there feels like things are timeless. Nothing really matters. The things the stupid fights I have with my friends, or the ways I feel hurt or upset, they all kind of disappear. And when we're out in nature, I think it's very easy for us to feel that attachment to the world, but maybe perhaps when you're walking down Queen Street at 1 a.m. and seeing the litter, it's really easy to forget that that's us. And so if I had one wish, one thing that I would change, I would experience my day every day, and I would wish this for you, as if there was no boundary between you and the world that we live in. That there is no out there is no over there, and there is nowhere that things disappear to. That all of us are deeply attached through that web of life. I read Rachel Carson as a small child, and I remember being utterly in tears as a 6 or 7-year-old, understanding what we were doing to our environment through pesticides, and it changed my life forever. And so for me, I think it's an important thing for us to think about it as a place of great privilege to be able to serve. It's a place of great privilege to be able to take a stand for Papatūānuku and to say, this far and no further, you know, I stand for her. And I think for you, any of you who will take it, it is a privilege to have the ability to speak out, whether you speak out for refugees, or you speak out for your brothers and sisters around you, you speak out on domestic violence, or you speak out for the planet. That's something, it's an obligation as well as a privilege, and it's something that if you think again about your connection to each other and to the world around us, you would do. We all see these pictures of birds or animals or whales, and it seems like every week there's a story about the plastics in the ocean. There is no away. You know, yesterday I got to hear a talk by someone who has developed a plastics recycling plant. And there was a part of me that was really excited that they were going to be recycling the plastics that were around us, but at the same time was heartbroken that we were continuing to produce this stuff. That every bit of plastic that has ever been created is pretty much still in our environment and still will be. And every time we buy a plastic bottle, or we buy something in plastic packaging, we are contributing to that. And truly, in terms of plastics, there's only downcycling, not really recycling. We never make it as good as it was before. And I think it's almost like it's become a way that we can excuse our behaviour because we think that's all right, I'm putting it in the recycling bin. But when you put that plastic in the recycling bin, what you should be thinking about is that is never leaving the planet. That is continuing to cycle and cycle and cycle forever. And so I would really encourage you as a consumer too to be thinking every time you buy something, what am I buying, and where did it come from, and where did it go? Because we are all connected, and there is no place that is away. This is not a way for this bird. I don't know if you saw this. This was for sale just recently, or no, they just got a consent, and it disturbed me that you could build a house this big, not far from Auckland, and those guys are taking, 60,000 litres a day to water their lawns. Now, on one hand, we can think about water like that, but why on earth are we putting in planning permission to build a house this size that doesn't store its own water, that doesn't save every bit of rainwater that falls on its roof? So if they want to, water their lawns, they should be using the water they collect, not taking the water that is produced and cycled around the planet. And that's part of what I think about by way. So all of you as citizens have an ability to look at your local councils, and now we've got a national election coming up. You have to have your say. You have to have your say at the local level as well as the national level. So thank you. Yeah, get out and vote. Get out and vote. I was staying with friends last night, and I was saying you should let your 17-year-old have your vote. Let her decide, because it matters more to her where your future is than it possibly matters to you. Give her your vote. So let's stop building houses that are not integrated with the environment around us. Let's make sure we have wild places for our children. Too many cities are designed as if children don't live in them, and we need to keep these wild places, need to be able to run free in the forest. We need to surround ourselves with beauty, and one of the things I do love about Auckland is how much public art has been built here in the last few years, and Wellington is really good at public art too. But we need to make sure that we reflect that beauty in everything that we do and around us. There is no one else. My family are here, many of them came as refugees, and we look at ourselves. New Zealand is a country of immigrants. Even the tangata whenua immigrated here from Hawaii. So for us to kind of think, oh, those wars, those things, they happen somewhere else, that level of disconnection from other human beings, it just isn't true. They're just whānau of ours that we don't know yet. And thank you, and so we need to bring them home, and if they need a home, then we need to home them. And we need to stand for what is right, and it takes great courage. What I can say to you as someone who, has spent my life as an activist is that it is the greatest life you will ever live. And I say that with great humility, that to live a life with meaning is so much better than to live a life as a sleepwalker, and yet many people do. So thank you, live your life with meaning. And then the last thing that I would say to you again is that, the rhythm of life comes and goes, and the thing that gives me the most solace in my life is to spend time both with the people I love, but most of all in nature, out in a kayak when it's too cold to get in the water. So whatever that is, and I would just encourage you to really look around you. The person sitting next to you is you. The bird that flies in the sky around you, or the fish that is in the sea by us, or the cows on those dairy farms, they're us. And don't lose that sense of connection with who we are. We are part of everything that is around us. We are not separate from it. Thank you.